Good morning, good morning. It is your host, Mr. RC. You know what it is. You've tuned into the Greater Thoughts Morning Show. Thank you to all the listeners out there. Today, man, let me tell you, today I really want to talk about this election stuff. I really do. It's the 7th of November. We had election day a couple days ago. I really want to know who y'all voted for. I won't stay there though. I won't even go into that lane. I don't have enough time today. I have special guests in the building with me today, Mr. and Mrs. Charlton and Alicia Grant. How y'all doing?
Doing
Great,
well.
doing
Hello,
great.
hello. How are
Man,
you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Just I'm great. Greater thoughts. I'm great.
Awesome. Well,
No,
we're happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. You know, I've known this couple for quite a while, and I've seen some big things come from them. I'm really excited to have them here with me today. I want to just dive into their life and all the wonderful things they're doing in the city of Charlotte and surrounding areas. So, Charlton is tell the world about yourself, Charlie. Tell them a little bit about you.
My name is Charlton. I'm a native of Charlotte, so a lot of people can't say that. Born and raised at formerly Presbyterian Hospital. So I take that with pride because not many people, Charlotteans, stay around long enough, or it's a lot of people that come from different states that visit us. But born and raised here, graduated from Independence, and then went to college at Western Carolina, running track and field.
And Miss Alicia, tell the world a little bit about yourself,
Well,
please.
yes. As you said, my name is Alicia. I am born and raised in South Carolina, and I'm from the big town of Heath Springs, South Carolina, where we only have one caution light and one gas station. Not even a stoplight, but it's okay. We have a Dollar General there now. We're doing big things.
We're growing.
And a Family Dollar now.
Yes,
They built the
yes,
Family Dollar, yeah.
absolutely, yes. And as far as for myself, I attended Winthrop University for undergrad as well as graduate school, and I have been working in our family business for well over 6 years now.
And that's what I want to talk about, your family business today.
Yes.
And I appreciate you guys introducing yourselves. I know too much about you, so I've been rambling on forever and ever. You know, when you have good people, a good couple that's in your midst, it's so many wonderful things that I could say about you two as a couple. Their parents, they have 3 beautiful children. How old are the kids?
Well, we have recently turned, all our children's birthdays are in October and November. So I'll just kind of skew them up to the age they're going to be or have recently turned. So we have a 3-year-old, Elijah. We have a 7-year-old, Charlton Grant Jr., and soon to be 9-year-old, which is my baby girl, Kayla Isabella Grant.
The whole name. That's right. We love her too.
Yeah.
So, what I would love for you guys to share about is your business. They own a I9 Sports, and they've been, let me put it this way, my kids have been heavily involved in their program. I've done some coaching over there. Everybody knows that I've been doing some coaching. So I've done some coaching over there, whether it be from soccer to basketball to flag football.
Mhm.
I've been heavily involved in watching their growth here in the city. I want tell what I wanted to talk about is the vision. Whose vision was this? Was it both of your vision? Whose vision was it?
So I'll take credit for the vision. I wouldn't necessarily say vision. It was a thing.
Dream.
It was a dream
Mhm.
that my wife helped me curate. When we first started, we actually started as a, a youth basketball coach at a church. Me and my wife and I are not necessarily overly competitive people, but we love working with kids.
Unless you're playing spades or chess, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of just a passion for working with kids, and we had an opening at my former church to just help with basketball, and I said I'll just volunteer to go help. We started that program with 4 kids. We didn't even have enough for a whole 5-man rotation.
We had to beg
we had to
3
beg.
others.
He had to beg one kid that had no interest in playing basketball, but he had a friend on the team, so he said he will come just so we could have a team. And so we built it out, and a couple other friends ended up adding their friends to the team, and we end up with 8 by the end of this season. But just a fortune of God that we pulled together, and the players really enjoyed playing, and we enjoyed coaching, and we made it to the championship game. We lost, unfortunately, the championship game, but we did make it to the championship game our first year. And that
with
kind
an
of
8-man team.
with an 8-man team. Most games we had 6, so we had 6 strong. Like I said, we had the one that really didn't want to play.
Right.
We couldn't even really get him in the game. Most of the games that we had, but they had an enjoyable time. And our goal, we never put pressure on ourselves to make it a championship team or try to make it more than what it was. We just had one or two of the kids was the coach's son, so there's 2 of the 4 initially, and they just like playing basketball. And I was kind of like the voice of, I wouldn't say reason, but when your dad's the coach and you playing for the dad spills over to the coaching and all that, and you can speak to that with your children. So I was a buffer for most of that season. I had some good strategies, up tempo, and things like that to help us get some games at that age. But the main strategy was that they have fun, and we always emphasized the fun over the wins and losses. I always wanted them just to play well, whether we won or lost. And we didn't start out winning. I mean, we took some lumps with 4 or 5 players. It's tough to play. But I just told them every week, just get better. Just get 1 week better, 1 week better. And then at the end of the season, generally you play your best basketball, and that's just what happened for us. We got hot in the playoffs and just kind of progressed to the championship game. So that was the first season. And from there, I didn't think nothing of it. We, of course, got recognized at church. All the church members came out and they was proud. And then some more kids heard about us, and then we end up
getting a little bit more funding.
Get a little bit more funding, a little more backing. We got new uniforms that next year. We had the old 80s style uniforms. They literally had to go in the back of the closet to say, "Where them jerseys at?" And it was just full jerseys out there. They haven't cracked open since the 90s. My sister actually wore them jerseys in literally the 90s. So that lets you know. And this is the 2010s around there time.
So how did that fast forward to the I9?
So we progressed that program in 3 seasons. Word got out, and we grew that 4-man team to 4 teams.
It was about
3
50.
different divisions, about 50 plus players, and we capped out. We literally ran out of jerseys, so we couldn't accept anymore. And about 15 to 18 cheerleaders.
Oh wow! Okay.
So we grew that program, and I was like, man, this is doable. And we weren't out handing out flyers. We weren't out, really advocating or marketing for ourselves. We just didn't really want to turn players away. And we partnered with a school after we got started at Ranson High. They are a Title I school, so a little bit low funding, low income based school. And the players that had problems, that love playing sports, but they just had problems, and we just made a partnership, and they just start showing up. And that partnership grew to where assistant principals would call us and say, "Hey, your student is not doing good in school. Can you do something?" And we told them, like, school comes first. So we had some players having to sit out and sharing with us a lot. I mean, that was a lot of pressure that I think we helped the school deal with, because we were showing up, picking up kids from school, taking kids home after practice. But we built that program, and that kind of fast forward into looking at I9. My godson plays at I9 when he was 8 years old.
Yeah, he was probably about
5, maybe 5. And we just went and had no idea. When he said he had a flag football game, he wanted us to come. We went and cheered him on. It was like, oh, I9, that's pretty good. I like how they have the programming. It was kind of set. The days were set. We knew his schedule. That worked out really good. And then we progressed to doing some more research in it. And did more research. I told Alicia about it. I thought it was a good idea. Presented it to her, and she was like, "Oh, that's pretty good." Like my wife always does. She said, "That's a good idea." And then it stuck on me. And I went back and said, "Yeah, you heard the I9 thing. There's something about it." She's like, "Charleston, if you want to find out more information, do you really want to pursue this?" And I was like, "Well, you got to go to Florida, Discovery Day. It costs money. Sorry, they're headquartered in Orlando. to get more information because I had a call with the initial calls to tell them about what to expect, and they called me back and said I would be a good candidate. And she was like, "Well, if you want to pursue it, let's go for it." And I was like, "Okay."
So at that time, were you both working full-time jobs?
Both working full-time jobs. She is a finance person.
Yes. So at the time, I was working for a healthcare company, but in the finance department, and we had one child and one on the way at the
Okay.
time
All right.
when he initially brought it to me. And for me, Charlton is the dreamer, and I like to like take action. So whenever my husband comes up with any ideas, I'm always saying, okay, well, what's your plan? What's your vision with it? And can we make it happen? And after, like he said, he brought it to me maybe like twice or maybe 2 3 times, and after that third time I was like, okay, Charlton, it seems like you really want to do this, and if you do, let's go, let's try it, and let's see if it will work out for us. And he did the research. We went to Florida. Within all of this happened within like 2 weeks.
Quickly.
It happened quickly, very quickly. And before you know it, we're taking, I don't know if you remember, Charles, and we drove 24, we were up 24 hours. We drove down to Florida that morning, did our interview, and then drove back home that same day, so that we could make it back home within that 24-hour range. And after all of that, it just seemed like God was just speaking to us all the way there and all the way back. And I just had a really good feeling about it from the moment that we were there together doing the interview. And I just felt like it was going to be something special for us.
I can actually hear your passion in the way you speak about it.
Yeah.
It's amazing to hear, and that's another sign of such a wonderful couple. He has a vision, but you're the action person. So he gives you the vision, and you put it in play.
Yes.
So are you both still on your full-time jobs?
So no, I actually took the leap of faith, and I run the business full time. That was not easy because for me, I was on a track of doing fairly well for myself, and continuing to get my promotions and getting into the rooms with the right people. But simultaneously, I felt like where I was not meant for me. I felt like I was trying to fit myself into a square hole, and it just was not going to work for me. I kept feeling that, and I prayed about that. I prayed about that feeling, and I had feelings of I need to leave, but in my mind, I'm like, no, that's not what I need to do. God, I know you don't want me to just leave. And I kept, I guess, being disobedient with that. And God said, okay, well, let me just help you out. And here we are today with me just running things full time.
So let's go back, because what I like to uncover is how we persevere through situations. Because the radio show is Greater Thoughts, so I need to get an understanding on your greater thoughts that you were having when you were going through. You said two things. One, it was difficult for at a period of time, and also you were talking about something that most people aren't willing to do. You guys drove from here, Charlotte, to Florida, Orlando, and then drove from Orlando back here, or Tampa.
Actually, yes, a little further.
Okay,
yeah.
So to Tampa, and then drove back without staying at a hotel overnight.
Yep.
You didn't fly down.
Nope.
So that means, to most people, that money wasn't just of abundance at the time.
Yes.
So how did you navigate through that process? For the people that are considering what you're talking about, stepping away from a full-time job that they're, excelling in, and now you're at home running the family business, and we'll get to how well you're doing now in a minute. But how did you navigate through that process?
Well, I'll say for myself, it was very nerve-wracking.
Be honest. There we go.
Yes, it was. It was because you don't know what's on the other side. So it's very easy for me to say now that I'm here that, oh, just keep pushing through. You're going to get through it. But the main thing that kept me going was I kept praying. I kept praying. And during that time, I got the closest that I had ever been with God because, Rob, as you will know, we had our couples Bible study at the time.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes, ma'am.
that in itself helped me because of our marriage. It helped us grow stronger as a couple. It helped me grow stronger as a woman myself of God. And I needed that at the time. So I would say if you're ever at a point of knowing you're at a crossroad and you know that you need to go right when God is telling you, but left is it seems a little easier. Find those friends or find that church or find a group of people that you can lean on and pray with, and that's going to help you persevere and get through those stumbling blocks of being hesitant to go out and step out on faith when you're a little nervous and hesitant about it. So that would be my answer for myself.
Charlton, what about you?
I would say, I know you touched on it briefly with the financial aspect, and kind of that hurdle was more so on my side. Of course, going from a solid two income household, like she said, she was progressing, getting promotions. We were both kind of on that back and forth of progressing each other in our family, which is the better benefit, and then having one child on the way, and then one daughter, that child care bill is consistent.
Different.
It's a
Oh
doozy.
yeah. I knew about it before you did. So
Yeah.
I understand that child care bill.
So that was probably the hurdle that we had to kind of both, that for her to leap out of faith, like leap of faith that she took to just leave and exit the corporate world was a hurdle, and then the byproduct of that is now navigating a family where we didn't have the income for both. Uh, and what, just a little bit more clarity on I9 Sports, it is a franchise model, so it's not something that we are starting from the ground up, which is the benefit of the branding, the name, the secret sauce, as they say. But on the flip side of that is like Chick-fil-A. If you buy a Chick-fil-A franchise, you have to pay for that franchise or legal rights to use that name. And I9 is no different in the sense of a franchise. So you had to pay money, upfront money.
Free.
It was not free to get started. So I mean, everybody has startup costs when you're talking about any business. I was just maybe a little bit higher barrier of entry because it's a franchise that we're purchasing, and then you have to go set equipment, and we bought ours from scratch, which means that we didn't have any residual people who played in our league or anybody who knew of the league. We just had to start literally from one member deciding to try out, and one registration, as we call them, a one player, one family to choose us. So it was humble beginnings, but that hurdle was real, and I know people who have that and have to go with the correct mentality of pushing forward when everything is going to tell you that fight or flight or the freeze, they say now.
Yeah.
But when you're starting a business, you have to take a forward step. You can't freeze. You can't run. So you got to take that next step, and the next step, and the next step, and the next step. So that was probably more so the hurdles to start that we both experienced.
That's Alicia, you just made a comment that I love. You said brick by brick.
Yes.
You know, a lot of times people look at people in business at their successful points, and they don't see the foundation was being built brick by brick.
Yes.
You know, you don't just all of a sudden have a complete foundation and the house shell is done, and it started from somewhere.
Absolutely.
And after you get a first layer of bricks, now you got to come back with some mortar.
That's right.
And then you got some more bricks.
Yeah.
But once you put that first layer of bricks down, you now have to put the mortar. That's a waiting process.
That's right.
And so you just can't sit bricks on top of bricks. There has to be something to glue them together, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
And so your first year, do you guys remember the first year? How many registrations did you have the first year? Do you remember?
Oh, I remember this. I will happily talk about it. And Rob, you know a little bit about it again because of us all having our couples Bible study back in the day. So for us, our goal was to try to have 150 for our very first season.
Okay.
And when we went to our trainings, they gave us all the tools that we needed to do. And you know how I am, Rob. I'm going to check off my boxes,
Very
the things
meticulous.
that I need to do. I'm going to get my things done because they said, if you do this, you'll get that. So I did all of this, but I did not get that.
Okay.
So our very first season, we had 78 children. And I remember having almost like a breaking point for me of talking to Charlton and saying, Charlton, we did everything that they said to do, and we did not get the number. What have we done?
What decision have we made? We done put our money out there,
Yes.
and we got half the number.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
And about that number, Alicia doesn't. I don't know if you remember, but preceding, you usually have a wave at the final rush, so you get the people who get last minute registration.
Mhm.
And before that last minute registration, we had 50.
Yes,
something.
that is right.
Because we were like
it was right. Yes.
50 players, and we came from a league that we built. And we had 70-something
Yes.
players
In the church league.
in the
Yes.
church league.
Yeah.
Now, see, Rob, I would have absolutely loved if you would have written that book before our first season.
You needed
Because,
some positivity
Yes,
at that time.
because I want to
lot
say
of-
it was like day 20 something. You were like, you got to smile through it.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. I said, even with us having these 78 kids, we're going to do our best. We're going to put on our best program that we can. And that's what we did with our 78 little babies out there. They came out there. They were excited. And not to mention with our staff, we had 2 out of 4 of our staff people. Both of their grandmothers passed away that night. That night before.
Whoa.
That's what we were told, and I'm gonna go ahead
Stay
and
with
assume
that,
that's
yeah.
what they
No,
said, and
right.
I felt so bad for them, and I was very nervous for us at the same time. So we still went out there, and this was a blessing in itself. Our business coach came to visit us, and he went out there. He started unpacking stuff for us. He kept encouraging us. That was the motivation we needed.
Yes.
We put on a great first week, and that whole 7 weeks was great. Our NPS score, which is our net promoter score, this is surveys that people take. We end up making 98%
in your survey.
In our surveys.
Wow, that's great.
The average, what your goal is 60.
And you were at 98.
We were at 98.
Wow.
So we put on a great program with just that 78. And now you fast forward to today.
Yes.
Our prior season, we had almost 900 kids.
Wow.
In the blessing.
And this is in 6 years?
This is in 6 years of us working and doing that brick by brick, keep going forward, even though we stumble. And fortunately, it's usually I either have a moment or Charlton has a moment, and then we pull each other. One of us will pull each other, so that we can get past that finish line of that next step. And here we are today with close to 1,000 kids.
Man, you said so many things in that, Alicia. Let me unpack a couple.
Yes.
I smile during my tough times because I know that the accomplishments, the benefits, and the joys are on the other side.
There it is,
That's
right
what
there.
you're
That's
talking about
it.
in the
That's
book,
it.
right?
Yes.
And one thing that I have to just say is congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, I don't think I've ever just took a moment to just tell you guys congratulations.
Yes.
From 50.
Yes.
Yeah.
To 900.
Yes.
In 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Charlton, if you will, for everyone that's listening in the Charlotte area, tell us the locations that you have and what they need to do to sign their children up.
Well, I9 Sports is been operating for the longest, probably one of the longest programs nationally. They actually started one of their first franchising opportunities was in Charlotte. However, we now have 4 operators of I9 Sports. For us, our locations are in Concord, Indian Trail, and they call it the Greater East Side of Charlotte. That we operate in. So if you would like to have your kids come out and play, we offer a variety of sports, which is unlike a lot of programs. We offer basketball, flag football, t-ball, cheerleading, volleyball, and soccer are or I would say core sports, but people are really starting to take heed to the volleyball. And that is something probably our fastest growing sport by far. But we offer these sports depending on weather and the seasonality. We try to offer all these sports year round at one of our locations.
For age 3 all the way up to for flag football, we go all the way up to 14, but typically it's 3 to 12. So anybody that's out there listening, we'll absolutely love to have you guys join us one of these days.
Anyone listening, let me tell you, this is a wonderful couple, Mr. Charlton and Miss Alicia Grant. Tap in with them, get your kids in tune. Believe me, there will be a lot of success for their kid. It also builds a great foundation for your child. They'll become knowledgeable with other kids throughout the city because they have kids coming from everywhere. Mm-hmm. So you won't count as strange when they're 15 and they know kids that go to other high schools or they're playing against other kids at other high schools throughout the city. One thing that I must say, I got to tell y'all one thing before you go. And it's not just thank you. It's that all success starts with a thought. Take those thoughts, turn them into action, and go be great. God bless. Thanks for coming in, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
In the silence of the night, when doubt creeps in, I hear that whispering voice pulling me from within. The weight of the world tries to break my soul, but I rise from the ashes, determined and whole. With every step, I'm reclaiming my grace. Positive thoughts lighting up my space. I'm breaking these chains with love in my heart, embracing my journey. It's just the start. No more doubts or fears. I'll find my way. In greater thoughts, I'm here to stay. Callings writes the path for my heart and my mind. I'm trapped and free, I leave shadows behind. Embracing the light where positivity flows. In the garden of hope, every flower grows. Daily affirmations shape my reality, empowering my spirit, igniting vitality. I'm breaking these chains with love in my heart, embracing my journey. It's just the start. No more doubts or fears. I'll find my way. In greater thoughts, I'm here to stay. Daily affirmations shape my reality, empowering my spirit, igniting vitality. I'm breaking these chains with love in my heart, embracing my journey. It's just the start. No more doubts or fears. I'll find my way. In greater thoughts, I'm here to stay. With an untrapped mind, I'm finally free. Living for today, just being me.